Howdy, everybody. Good to be here with y'all. Man, it's good to be here with you all. Like I just said, awesome. I shared my heart on the last couple of videos on my experience through the decades. My process went decades to get to where I'm at now, where I see many quick, very much quick works. They're doing it and getting in, and it's like everything's fast. They're moving faster. They don't have to give up. A couple of people didn't have to give up religious beliefs and got awakened because they don't have that dogma connected to them. When I think of especially one of the guests I had on here for sure, right? So let's get started. We did a bunch of different shows. We did Off the Cuff, which we had a 1 and 2 of me kind of just sharing my story and where I'm at and where I think we're at on some different items, what's happening in front of us, outside of us, right? In the reality, or is it? You know, when you say, and people say, what do you mean by is it? Is it? Predator prey, that's all we see. Foundation of it. The demiurge, right? That which appears to be doesn't always result in that which is. When you change your perspective, your degree, and change your perspective, your degree, perspective. Perspectives are degree. But this is not what we're going to talk about today. We got this new show, and it's called, it's an esoteric show about decoding song lyrics, right? So the last song I did, because I got a list, and I was gonna do, there's some other songs I'm gonna do, definitely gonna do the Eagles, definitely song, the Eagles of Hotel California, we're gonna break that down. Definitely Pink Floyd, The Wall, got a few others that I got listed. But we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to go to a song, which is not brand new, but newer than my generation, by one called gentleman, musician, singer, creator, Marilyn Manson, right? We're gonna jump into a song of his. So we're going to share the screen. We're going to see the lyrics of this song, and we're going to go into it. Before we do that, let's do this. Let's kind of trickle this page down a little bit. Trickle this page down. Why it's not? Okay. That's much better. Had to fight with you to get it done. But anyways, this is a song by Marilyn Manson. It's called Say Tan. Notice it's called Say Tan. Say Tan. Very interesting. Words, and then when I seen the breakdown of it, watch this. So the lyrics, right? Here's the lyrics. Devil's got it cut like a slit in a cattle's calf. $ snakes. I'm all in the damned godless, fearless of the flood, or the blood of the coming spring. So right here, the lyrics, right? The devil's got a cut like a slit in a cattle's calf. Bleeding $ snakes, and you know $ has this, looks like a serpent, right? The snake in the symbol, the S. I'm all in the damned, godless, fearless of the flood. So not fearing the flood or anything, I would per se, this is, he says, he's talking about the damned of the godless, or the blood of the coming spring. Something is shedding its scales, crying from the heat of the light, or the empty shell on the stage. And cash is poor man's money, and cash is poor man's money. That's interesting because it kind of is. As we know, a lot of the money has no value, actually. It's paper. The true people that have power, they're not interested in the money given to them who are in the esoteric, us, right? Who value money to buy what we need when we know it's not backed by anything. That's true. That's what he calls it, poor man's money, because them with power are not looking for money, they're looking for resources. They're looking for something, for a resource. They're not really looking for money. They're looking for the resource, right? You say God and I say 10. Interesting. You say God and I say 10. I'm going to tell you now, this is definitely some esoteric stuff. You say God and I say 10. 10 would be say 10 is say 10. So he says, you say God, I say 10. Say 10. Open your mouth, love like a gutted church. My goat horns are napalm trees, and the crown of thorns is hard to swallow. You pray now, it is above or is it below? Definitely some occultic stuff here. He's really missing in the song, as we call him, in a Satanist or black magic and you know, all these different things. But there's definitely exoteric things that the esoterics would definitely demonize. But he's really saying something here, I see. What he's saying here is, open your mouth, love like a gutted church. My goat horns are napalm trees, and the crowns of thorn is hard to swallow. You should pray now. Is it above or is it below? You should pray now. That's the whole saying of that. So is above, so is below, right? Things get hijacked, and it gets hijacked, and we think that's what it means, but it's really very illusionary in the hijacking. If people are drinking blood and doing this, it doesn't mean the meaning of something that they hijacked. We've went over this with symbols and signs, right? How even, I have to break down a Baphomet breakdown, that the original meaning of the Baphomet was a feminine and masculine going, and his fingers are up and down, that's above and below. That which is above, below is a mirror reflection of that which is below. Meaning it's the same. The connection's the same. Above and below are reflective of the same mirror image of each other. He's asking them, if you were to tell somebody in the regular church, he said the gutted church up above, I believe that's the word he used, gutted, which I get, like a gutted church, because it is. There's no balance of in it. There's no center and there's no middle in it, because it's, you know, that realm has definitely been hijacked as esoteric for a long time. I can even break down that word church, where it comes from in etymology. You might be like, your eyes might, and your mouth might drop. We'll do it one day. But not saying that I support Mr. Marilyn Manson. Sounds like Baphomet of Maryland, and then we immediately think Maryland, women, Manson, we think about Charlie. And that could be his combination. He wears makeup and wears a lot of definitely dark clothing of goth, all right? Goth. Am I saying it right? God, I know that. Why am I not saying it? Anyways, you should pray now. Is it above or is it below? You should pray now. And then this question is it above or is it below? Very interesting when you see that, because that is a definite exoteric sayings. This isn't somebody who doesn't know more than that. These lyrics are deeper than you would find in mainstream Christianity by ears. They would totally demify it, but there's definitely stuff here. Open your mouth, love like a gutted church. My goat horns are napalm trees, and the crown of thorns are hard to swallow, right? Should pray now, is it above or is it below? You should pray now, is it above or so? So we know that in traditional program, exoteric, knowledge, above is heaven and below is hell. We know in esoteric that it's a reflection of both. Same as above, so below, right? That's a pillar of esoteric knowledge, above and below reflection, right? It's the same. And you might say, and then he says below, he says, you say God, I say 10. And we're thinking it's Satan, right? You say God and I say 10, say 10. You say God, I say 10. You say God, I say 10, say 10. That goes into say. Cocaine and Abel, I don't baptize whores, I'm a legend, not a fable. Cocaine and Abel. Cain and Abel, right? And if you take the CO off the cocaine and Abel, it really would be cocaine. And I see this more than drugs personally. I see the codependence on Cain, because when you're not able, I've said this many times, what happens when you're not able? You need a Cain because you can't support yourself. So you become codependent on the Cain. Cutting him slack, or is he talking about the drug? Could be, but I see in that word, codependent with a Cain. And then he mentions Abel, goes into a biblical character, Abel, right? Abilities. I talk about this even before I read this. I heard about the song a while ago. And since we did just recently, the last breaking down of a song was Murder by Numbers, right? And you kind of got, some of you who listen have kind of never really, what's gematria? You're going to get an introductory to gematria here. In that song, Murder by Numbers, I said, was all about gematria, right? We're going to do this in this too. The key thing is you say God, I say 10. And you can say Satan. 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 Right? I don't baptize whores, I'm a legend. I'm not a fable, cocaine and Abel. I don't baptize whores. I'm a legend. I'm not a fable. Could be actually talking about a little bit. Where'd this go? Okay. You should pray now. Is it above or is it below? Going through, you should pray now. Is it above? I mean, who are you praying to? I see it as above and below, or the reflect images in an esoteric meaning, right? You should pray now. Then it goes on to repeating, you say God, I say 10. And say 10, it sounds like what? Satan, 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 Satan. And it repeats and repeats and repeats, right, about this. So let's see here. We're going to use this. Aha, you got my way a little bit. The gematria, right? This is called a gematria-ator. This is where you can put words in and found the values in gematria. So let's do this. Let's go Satan. Ooh, look what it has. There's 4 different ciphers here. The ordinal, the reduction, reverse, and reverse reduction. And notice the reduction has 10. Notice that, 55 and 10 even. And then 80, 35 with the different ordinals, right? I'll press this. It will show you the 10, right? The 10, the prime number, the Fibonacci code. But we see that it's going into the, so in the ordinal, which you get 55, but in reduction you get 10. Remember this said, Satan, you say God, I say 10. You say God, I say 10. In the number in the geometrinator, which is right up here in the left corner. This is where you can put any word and find the value of the letter and number, and then you can fit it against other words showing this, right? So you got Satan. So let's go. And I don't want to do that again. There was a way, and I'm not figuring it out right here, to save the word where they both populate at once. But you remember the 55 and 10 for sure. Remember, you say God, I say 10. So let's go say God. Oh, look what we got here. We got the 10 and also the 55. And if I'm not mistaken, in Satan, was there a 17 too? We definitely got these two numbers. We got the reverse reduction and the reverse ordinal. And then when you see that, you see the 55 and 10, the same as Satan. So this is what the song's saying. In Gematria, Satan and God have the same numbers, right? Satan and God have the same numbers in 2 out of the 4. Let's go back. I think it's 3 out of 4, but let's definitely 2 out of the 4. This is why he says, you say God, I say 10. This is what it's talking about. The saying 10 is in here, the reverse reduction of God is 10, right? We're going to backspace this and put Satan. So there's your, no, it's only those two, the 10 and 55 again, the same ordinal. In the reduction, look at this here, 10, 55, 10, 55, both of them. Double nickels, you add 5 plus 5, you get 10, right? You see the 10. So that's what this song is really telling you in Gematria. Like the song Murder by Numbers is another language and symbols. This actually has roots of the Kabbalah, comes from the Kabbalah. In recent, it even goes into Greek, and in Greek it has another name, and it's not off the top of my head, I can remember. But this really started in Babylon. I'm telling you, the bunch of what we see as Judaism and the biblical Abrahamic religions, especially Judaism, we're finding that a bunch of it is actually centered the Talmud. Because if you're Christian and Western, you're thinking the Old Testament, and that's the Judaism, that's their candy stick. It's not. They have the Zohar. Remember, a movie was made about Zohar a few years ago with Adam Sandler, and there's the Talmud. Well, both of these books are, guess where founded? The Talmud definitely is a Babylonian. Pretty much every practice that you'll find in Judaism actually has its roots in Babylon. Facts. So, but see, say 10, right? That's their little, what's in that song, in the lyrics. Remember that lyrics kept repeating, you say God, I say 10. Because it doesn't say Satan, it says Satan, because it's talking about the 10 is in both words. Remember that 55 and 10 are in both words. And 5 plus 5 also is 10. What do we do, God? There's the 55 and 10 right here again. You say God. So God and Satan in 2 of the ciphers are the same. One more time. Are the same. And this is really what it's referring to, the gematria of the hidden meaning of that. Definitely it fits some of the things that definitely I know before the traditional Roman Christianity came out with its co-op to take over the world. Just that's what it is. Conquered all your indigenous folks and all indigenous lands and all that, and wiped out those who opposed them with stronger founded beliefs, calling them names, making these names that when you do your back check on the names and etymology, you find, hey, a pagan's not bad. They got a little free thinking going on. They're not a program folk and what their connection was. So you see that God and Satan share the same gematria, 10 and 55, 10. All right. You guys, all right. So we're gonna stop sharing. So yeah, that's a song that I have heard a few times. knew about it, was introduced into it really. And as I was introduced into it, I said, let me do this word, because I'm thinking about words to do. And I this fit because my last musical decode was about murder by numbers. And so this fit with the Satan, murder by Satan. You say God, I say 10. I say Satan, it's 10, say 10, right? But you guys see the connection and what's going on here. Next time I'm going to try to find more an uplifting song of hope like Stairway to Heaven was compared to the last two. But this is not bad. It's kind of showing you the yin and yang here, which is more in depth of meaning than what was made into. But you guys have a great day.